Okay, so we're now at stop 4. This is a site that I wanted to stop at just because you get a really, really good view of the gorge from above. And here I'm going to talk a little bit about 2 key bridges in Elora, and we'll talk more about the gorge and its formation and its natural history when we get to stop 5 and are at the base of the creek and the base of the gorge. But for now, I just want to talk a little bit about the Irving Creek Bridge, or David Street Bridge, that we're currently on now. This is the first of 6 bridges in the same location over the Irving Creek, and was built originally in 1848 by David Foote. This was replaced by a timber truss bridge in 1858, which was condemned only 8 years later. The piers that support the present bridge was built in 1867 to 1868 by Charles Lawrence, one of Elora's early stonemasons, after the founding of Salem, just north of Elora. And the open concrete bridge parts were constructed in 1921 using the central pier, and the bridge was replaced again in 2005. Some other details about the other key bridge that we can't see. There is a bridge that goes over Country Road, or Wellington Road 7. This was a fairly controversial project because it was a very large-scale operation in an area that, as we've already noted, is an area of natural beauty, an area that's meant to be kind of preserved for local people, for tourists, for visitors, for the art scene, those kinds of things. And people thought that it would be unsightly or a kind of blight on the local landscape. They didn't want to ruin the kind of aesthetic image of Elora as a place of natural beauty rather than a place of motorized traffic. But there was, in fact, the bridge was built. We can't see it from here, but you can take a look on the map. It's Wellington Road 7, and you can kind of get a view of it from the base of the creek, although it may be just out of view there as well. That's kind of all I want to say at this stop. One other thing to note, as we're moving from stop 4 to stop 5, we'll walk along managed and maintained trails. Do take a look at how the trails have been maintained. Take a look at the pedestrian supports that stop you kind of falling over into the creek, and use that as a way to think about how even these natural landscapes are still very actively managed sites of human activity too. As we noted in the last field trip, there's no such thing, especially in these kinds of quite urbanized areas, as quote-unquote nature, or an area untouched by human activity. So thinking about how this area has been made fit for kind of human use and consumption, essentially, is really important. So think a bit about the trails as well as we make our way down to the foot of the gorge.